Hi, I'm Netanel, and I am a rising junior at SAR High School. This is my project, the gesture-controlled robot with a robotic arm, and this is my final video. So when I bend my index finger, the claw opens. If I bend my middle finger, the claw will open, then go down, and as I straighten it, it will close and go back up. If I bend my ring finger, the claw will go to the side and open this way. And if I close it, it will go back up. And if I bend my pinky down, it will drive forwards. If I bend these two fingers down, then it will turn to the left. The way that this all works is that I have 4 flex sensors on my glove. These flex sensors output a number depending on how much they're bent. The first thing I did was I had to change these numbers to be easier numbers to work with. I changed the numbers that were being outputted to be numbers between 0 and 10. So instead of getting weird numbers like 562, I was now getting numbers between 0 and 10. It was a lot easier to work with. I then established thresholds to determine whether a finger would be considered bent or straight. And depending on if one finger was bent and if the other ones are straight, it would send a letter over XB, which is the blue thing over here, to the XB on the car. The XBs are a form of wireless communication that use radio waves to communicate. The first thing I did was I had to configure the XBs so that it would have the same PAN ID. PAN ID is the personal area network, and if 2 XBs don't have the same PAN ID, then they're not able to communicate with each other. I would send one letter over, and the XB would receive it, and depending on which letter it received, it would perform a different action. One of the challenges I have with this project is that the battery didn't provide enough current to control all the components on the car. At first I didn't know what this problem actually was, and I thought that maybe some of my wires or connections weren't actually connected, even though I thought it was, so I had to recheck all the connections and all the components to make sure that they were all working perfectly. After I checked it, I realized that it couldn't be that because everything was working perfectly, and I realized that the problem was that there wasn't enough current. So I added a second battery to compensate for this. I have 2 batteries, one that's controlling all the servos and one that's controlling the Arduino board and the DC motors. I really enjoyed making this project, and this project has greatly increased my knowledge in coding and just building robotics in general. I plan on working more with robotics at my house and also at school and university.